Hey guys, Board Bob here. So welcome back to Chasing the Achievement Fairy. I've been haven't recorded in a couple of days because I've been a little busy, and it's all kind of boring stuff. So I didn't think you guys really wanted me to. You didn't really want to sit through it, but let me show you what I did. So we've been working on our railroad system, and right now I've got train loaded up, mostly loaded up, to go ahead and finish that. But in the meantime, we've been running basically just the rails and the walls. So I showed you guys, a bit of the blueprints that I've got and what have you. You can see there's a lot of solar panels, a lot of accumulators in there. But let me show you what I've been up to. Let me show you what I did. Here we go. So I went through and if you'll remember, I had built the one square, so I went ahead and I laid out a few more. So this is going to be basically the beginnings of our, I guess, mega base, if you will. My plan is, now that I've got these all cleared out, and as you can see, I've gone through and I've cleared the trees and everything else. Most of them I poisoned or hand grenaded away. We did save some of them. I've still got a few more along the rails to pick up, that sort of thing. But my plan is this. I think I can fit my entire beginning base, or my entire beginning factory, into one of these squares. From there, I intend to probably make, this square here, because it's the least resource crowded right now. This is probably going to be my new smelting area. We're going to set this up to do smelting. We're going to set one of these areas up to do fluids. And then we're going to go through there and we're going to mine these. We're going to set them up to do, one of them to do chips. All of our chip production is going to be in one, etc., etc., etc. But in order to do that, I need to move my factory. But before I do that, I want to go ahead and get all of these solar panels and what have you set up. Not all of them, just the ones that we have. We're going to go ahead and start getting these set up. And then once we've got that, we're going to clear out this factory. We're going to move it over into this square. We're going to connect these two rail lines here. That way the entire thing will be completely connected. I've also gone through and I've added all my signaling and things like that, so we should be good to go. Now, since this train is, there are no stops, this train's independent, we're just going to get in it and go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get started along the outside of my rail lines. Just because we still have to change the insides and add our depots for our smelting and what have you. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to start on this outside track. Actually, you know what? Let's do something here. Let me back up. We're going to swap lanes. We want to be on that inner lane. And we want to be on that inner lane because of reach for our bots and things like that. So go ahead and do that. Let's get on that inner track. We're still going to go in the same direction. Alright, so now we got that started. Let's go ahead and turn on our RoboPort. And we're going to have to get down here. And we're going to have to snag out a train's worth of each, and then we're going to also grab, just in case there's something missing somewhere, and I know that there are some gates missing, so we're going to go ahead and just kind of get one section of rail at a time. We're going to get this set up. And it's nice with the bots because we can just let the bots do their thing. Now, one thing I did do is I built some more portable reactors. I built some more RoboPorts, and I built some more batteries. That way, we're not being held back by needing the RoboPorts, etc. To get this done. We should be able to whack out, you know, each individual area pretty quickly. And like I say, we're going to do this a section at a time. I know we are missing some gates, so we're gonna let's grab this so we can see where the extent of our RoboPort is. So we want to do one section at a time. So, all right, looks like we are out of gates. So let's go back here and get some more gates. And we're starting to run low on those. So let's go ahead and snag those. Go. That didn't take long. Now the thing is, once we use up what's in this train, we won't have any more until we get our factory moved, because I have gone ahead and cut off mining and such. So we won't have the mining input into our factory, so we won't be able to make our stuff, etc., etc. But that's okay. That's going to be our next process, and I'm not going to do that on video. I don't think. I think I'm just going to go ahead and move it, because it's basically just tearing stuff down and moving stuff. But I wanted to touch base with you guys. I know I haven't done an episode in a while. Because I've basically just been busy building this railway. And it's set up essentially the same as that original square. We've got a roundabout in each corner of it. What we'll be able to do when the time comes, as far as the center section, is we will be able to do this. Where is it? This one right? No, not that one. This one right here. So what we'll be able to do is basically come in here, and wherever we decide we want to have a rail system go into our center of our map, we can plop one of these down. We can pull up what's there, plop this down, and then have our rail station go into our map. And it's all set up. It's got our roundabout, everything else. The only thing it doesn't have for the first one that we do is it doesn't have our signaling, because we haven't added our signaling to that yet. But that's relatively simple to do. We just got to get to it. Once we have our factory rebuilt, and once we have this intersection done, what I'm going to do in the future, because and the other thing, well, no. Actually, yeah, you know what? Let's do this too. Let's go ahead and snag what research we can. That way we can start using up the science that's laying on the belts. There's no sense scooping it all up and putting it all back down if we can just go ahead and burn through it. So we'll get that started as well. But what I'm going to do is, for the once we get our factory moved and we start expanding, we're going to make a dedicated build train, and we'll have a depot for it so that it can fill the train, and then if we roboport this properly and what have you, that we can send it out, tell it to go somewhere, have it do its thing, and we won't even have to worry about, you know, going out there, in theory. Let's back up here a little bit. We want to get the solar panels on that other side. Let's see if we can reach them. We're not going to be able to get to all of them. Well, actually we can, because we can go down here, or we can just take one of these out. Let's just take one out and we'll put it back in. Let's bang this out. The reason they're picking up trees is I took my deconstruction planner and I told it to get rid of any nature inside of the area of the rails, just so that all the trees are off of our fences or our walls and what have you, so we can basically be able to see what's going on in our walls. So there we go. Come on, guys. Come on, you can do it. So I don't remember whether you guys remember me telling, I don't know if you guys remember me telling you this or not. I have my signals hooked up along the gates so that when the gates open, the signals go red. That way, the train will stop and not run my butt over if I'm coming through a gate. Now, if I'm unfortunate in my timing a little bit, there is still the chance of me getting run over by a train, but it's considerably less. Now, they are not keyed to these, because these walkways go all the way along the track, but they're not crossing the track, so I figure it didn't matter. We don't have to worry about those. And the reason I've got 3 gates and what have you is so that, just like with the walls, you know, we've got the 3 wall protection, so that the biters, you know, presumably can't get through while the train is doing its thing, or while the, you know, while the lasers are doing their thing, etc., etc., etc. Now, these gaps, I don't know whether I'm going to fill those gaps or, oh, you know what, we didn't do. Just for symmetry, we didn't put this back. Now, I could put in here, and I don't know whether I'm going to or not. I'm a little undecided on it. I probably will go back and fill all of those at some point, just again for symmetry reasons more than anything else. I don't know that we really need them for power, but part of the reason I want to go ahead and get all of my solar in first is so that while we are in the process of moving our factory, if I accidentally disconnect the nuke plant from the system, it will, the lasers and such on the outside walls will still be powered by this system. That way we don't lose our defenses, in case I don't notice it right away that I've inadvertently disconnected things and what have you. And eventually, what's going to end up happening, at least until our plant gets huge, is our solar power will be enough to carry the whole factory, instead of having to rely on the nuke plant. And what'll be nice about that oops, a little too far. We want to get this filled first. Is that we can then turn around and take all that uranium and put it towards the production of atomic weapons, which is going to help us clear the biters out much easier, much quicker, and certainly really good for clearing trees. I don't know that I would use nukes just for clearing trees, but it is definitely great for clearing biters. And we are definitely going to use it for that sort of thing. Okay, got that section, got that section. What did we grab that we don't, oops, that we don't need? That and that. We'll grab those. Now we've basically got just about everything that is in the train is in our pocket. We're going to go ahead and use as much as what we've got up as we can, which means we're probably going to run out of solar panels before we run out of accumulators. But we'll get all the accumulators out here and get them placed that we can, any of them that we can get placed. The other nice thing about having this design is because the factory is inside of my rails, not only do the biters have to get through the outer wall, they have to get through all of this, all of the panels and everything else, and they have to get through the inner wall before they can even get to the factory. Now, I don't know, I have not decided yet if I'm going to leave the lasers on the inner walls up. Part of me says take them down because of electrical use, and because they're not really needed at that point. And part of me says, what the hell, just leave them. We'll see how many we can end up making. So I don't know. We'll see. It kind of remains to be seen. I kind of haven't decided yet. Now, one of the things with the fact that we are now completely out of solar panels is we don't have to get out and go across to the other side, because we can reach all of the accumulators just from the train where we're at. So we don't have to get off. The only place we're going to get off is on these corners, just to make sure we fill in all the way to the end of the corners. And again, it really kind of doesn't matter. It's mostly a symmetry thing at this point. The little bit that we don't have is not going to affect the functionality. It's not a connection. It's just more capability. So we don't really need to have it. Come on, little guy. There we go. Now let's make sure that we got all the gates. Got all the gates. far enough back. Alright, come on. Make... Oh. Well, it would help to press the right key, too. Press the F key, the D key, not the F key. Gates to get. Doing this also kind of helps to make sure that I didn't miss any gaps in my rail lines or anything else like that. Alright, so that is it. So let's take a look, see where we are. Alright, so we've gotten all the way up and over to here as far as accumulators. So now we know for future reference where they are. We're going to add the single station that we have on the system, and we'll just let it take us home. And it tends to, the way the routing on this works, it tends to be a little odd sometimes. It's not necessarily always the most direct route, which is strange, but whatever, it works. I've got enough rails that I don't have to worry too much about trains clogging up other trains and what have you. There we go. We will dump all of this stuff and let it do its thing. I'll put those in that cargo wagon. And we're just going to let the train sit there. But that's it, guys. Like I say, that's our system. I'm going to start tearing down this factory, and we're going to squeeze it into here. The nuke plant is already in a good spot. It's up out of the way, and it's not covering that iron patch, so we can mine that iron patch. Now there are a couple of places, like this iron patch here is within our rail system, but it's not blocking our rails. We've still got some rails to replace because I took the line out that was feeding up. We've got some rails there to put back in. And then, like, you know, we've got patches that are inside of our rail system, you know, in various places. We're going to go after those patches. Once we get our rail system built out one more level, it won't matter, because we'll be able to cut those rails in those locations, and we'll be able to do what we need to do to mine those, and then we can put the rails back afterwards. So I think we're going to be good to go in that. Clearly we need some more substations here and what have you. Like I say, that all is because of this iron ore that I took out and this line that ran up here to feed the factory. But yeah, but that's basically the gist of it at this point. Now, like I say, I killed most of the trees with grenades and poison capsules, simply because we don't need a ton of wood. We just need wood for poles and that sort of thing. But we still ended up with a pretty big ass ton of wood. And we're gonna take care of that. We're gonna burn it. We're gonna take all of this wood. We're gonna set up a smelting area using and just insert the wood until it's gone, and use it for fuel. But you can see we still got, you know, a fair bit of science on the belts and a fair bit running through, so we might as well use it up. Let's see, 1,000, 500, 650, 1,000, and 2,500. That should allow us to burn through all of our science that is left to be done, you know, that is left kind of in our belt. We've launched a few rockets, so we do have some space science, but it's not going to use that up. We'll put that in a chest and what have you. So that's basically what's going on, guys. We're gonna go from there. Let's see what that did for our power, though, just out of curiosity. So that's 3,000 solar cells and 3,500 and 4,000 accumulators. That's not terrible bad. We're going to tear down these accumulators and add them to the mix. Matter of fact, let us do that right now. Let's take these puppies out. It's nice having so many little bots doing your bidding for you. And we can take that tower out because that tower doesn't matter. That tower does matter, however. And there we go. So that's that many more in the system. So that's the deal, guys. I'm just going to let this science run out, and then I'm going to start deconstructing the factory and move the factory. And once I get it deconstructed, like I say, I think, because if you look, this distance is probably right about here, and there's not that much more. We can fit all of that, I think, in an L shape on here, make it a lot more compact. We've got this lake here that we're avoiding. There's some space and what have you. I think we can get this all in a single square, and then we can start building our squares out and make them into independent manufacturing. You know, one of them's going to be smelting, one of them's going to probably be liquid, one of them's going to be circuits, one of them's going to be something else, and we'll just go from there. And we're going to use this train system. We're gonna train all of this. The other reason I'm wanting to use solar panels as opposed to power plants is this: as this gets bigger, our frames per second takes a hit more from nuclear power than it does from solar power. From everything I've read, we take a lot less of a hit from solar on our frames per second and what have you, and our processes per second and whatnot. So there you go. That's basically what's going on, guys. Just kind of wanted to fill you guys in on where things stand. I don't know if you guys saw, I grabbed Satisfactory, and I'm checking that out as well. I've got a couple of odds and ends things going on space exploration. Most of it's boring stuff. It's, again, just building out production just like here. But we'll get to that. I need to get back to 7 Days to Die. I did the one video. I got to get back to it. I just haven't been in the mood for it. So we'll go from there. That's what I know. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.